Thank you, Aaron. And welcome, everyone. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen right now. And I'm going to kind of just go through the highlights of what's new in 5.0. I'll touch on some few areas that have already been in the program that people may not have known about or I haven't included in the past webinars that I've done, just to kind of give everybody a heads up as to what's here, what's new, and what things they should be aware of. So I'm going to start out here at the login screen. As you'll notice, the main thing that's different is there's no more option to go to legacy. The 5.0 version is the first version that's solely off of Flash. It doesn't require it, and it's the platform we're going to be using going forward. Just kind of keep in mind that while this is the first release that's completely moved over from Flash, it is not the end of the line for it. This is really just the beginning. As time goes on, we're going to go ahead and keep enhancing it and improving upon it, just as we've done over the years. This is a giant hurdle for us to get off of Flash and onto a platform that we can support going forward. So I appreciate the patience that everybody's given us to get over to this new release, and just know that there's a lot of exciting things coming down the road. So I'm going to start out with just kind of logging into the 5.0. And let's go into it. And the first thing that I want people to notice is that over here we've got this bell and a little number that's kind of jingling alongside of it. One of the things that customers have asked us is there a way we can get rid of all of the warning messages that pop up when they launch the program? There's quite a few of them, you know, whether it's tasks that you have set, or it's the last a month, or you wanted to do a closeout, or all those things. So rather than have it pop up warning after warning after warning, we just decided to move it over here and have this little item, this little bell icon that will jiggle when you first come in to let you know that you've got a bunch of notifications. And as you can see, it's telling me that I haven't done a closeout in a while, that I don't have my backup manager set up, and just all the things. If I had tasks, it would have those as well. And this is just my way of seeing what things I have to do without having it being an annoyance when I'm just trying to get into the program. So it's something you want to kind of keep your eye out for when you launch the program, to see if the little number is kind of jiggling up there. It means that you have some notifications that it wants you to come look at. And you kind of get used to it. I've kind of gotten used to looking over there now when I launch the program to see what's going on. The other big issue that we've addressed over here is the record lock. I know many people have come to the situation where they'll be in an invoice or an estimate, they'll leave, the system will shut down on its own, and internally it has not released that item that you were working on. So what you have done in the past is you go to the system monitor and you release the record lock so that you could use it. Same thing if you had users that left logged into the system and you wanted to move them out. We did move that over here. It's right over here. You'll see the only users that are logged in at this time. You'll also see any records in here that you'll need to release, and you can kind of go ahead and release them from there. Just know that if you ever get in a situation where the program either says that you can't access a document because it's been locked, or there's a user you want to unlock out of the system, this is where you would come to do that. So we did move that over as well. So now that we're in the dashboard window, as I've mentioned before, and those people that are using the Fast Track side know that this is the new window. It's a combination of the Quick Access panel and the dashboard that we had over in the Flash side. The main difference we've made here is we've given room for more icons in the middle. So now when I customize this window, I actually have options to add or remove up to 18 items now in this window. So I'm going to build all the shortcuts that I want to use in this window here so that I can go ahead and easily click on the things I want to get to. The big and the nice feature that's in the Fast Track side is this is now by user. In the Flash side, all of this was done as a global. So whatever it was set up to by someone when they set up the system, everybody had to see the same window. And now one of the nice parts of the Fast Track side is that I can go ahead and set it up for me so I can see the things that I want to see. Okay? So I won't go through all the features of the dashboard. I did a little webinar on this already. So just know that it's a very nice customizable window that you can make look the way that you want to look. So I'm going to kind of go down the list and kind of look at the things that we've done. The creating items are pretty much the same. I'm going to go to my pending document window, and I'm going to go ahead and open up an item in here. Because one of the things that, to be honest with you, I didn't think people used all that much, that was used quite frequently, under the job details, we added back in the production dates. This was originally put in for routings for Tracker back in the date, and at one point we eliminated the routing, so we didn't think there was a need for the production dates. So they were eliminated. They used to be under the production data window when you were in a document. And we didn't even realize that people were still using these, but quite a few people have asked for it since we've moved over to Fast Track. So they've been added back in. And this is mainly for reporting purposes. If you want to put in here what the dates were that you completed these items, then a lot of people are now using reports to be able to go back and track to see how well you did on things. If a job ran late, why did it run late? Where was the hang up? Where did it get stopped? So those dates back in there, so just know that they're there for you to use at any time that you want to. So they're back in the system. We've enhanced a few things, such as the paper cutting diagram has now been embellished a little bit. We actually have given you the option now to save these as templates. We had this feature back in the Flash side. It's now been moved over to Fast Track, so at any point in time, if you do a layout that you say, you know what, this is a really good layout, I want to save that so in the future I don't have to keep recreating it from scratch. I can actually get this and just say save it as a template, and then I can reuse it anytime. You'll see right here I have a drop down of the templates that are available to me. They're all based upon the parent size of the sheet or the actual size you're going to run as to what the layout would be. And I could easily just switch this to a 4-up card, and you can see just that quickly now I have a different layout that I can use. Again, not having to recreate anything. It's all set up the way I want to run it. And this is really a nice tool for the people that aren't real sophisticated printers. It's a guide to help them to lay the job out the way you would want it to be run. So just that easily, I can switch from one template to another and pick the one that I want. So, and I'll discard that. So again, nothing much else has changed from the last version of the Fast Track side in this window. So I'm going to kind of move on to some of the other features that we've added. The pending list is also pretty much the same. We haven't done a whole lot to that. I'm going to go ahead and show you a few things that have changed. So one of the things is if I go down to my estimates and I click on one of them, you'll see here's the ability now to archive estimates, to clear estimates, to void, or to print right from here. So that was one of the features we had under the admin menu to clear estimates, and we could do it automatically or over certain dates. So we put them back in here. You can select the ones that you want to clear and do them all at once. You can say all of them if you want to, or you can pick any combination thereof in order to go ahead and clear them or archive them. So we've added some of the additional functionality because we no longer really have the admin menu anymore. We've moved some of these within the areas that you would actually use them. And it kind of makes more sense. You kind of want to see what you're doing so that, you know, when you clear something, you're not clearing something that you don't know what's actually happening. Here I can say I want to clear it or void it right from this window. The same way when I'm in the invoice, if I select one of them, I get the option, you know, to pick them up, to print, or to print the job ticket right from there. So again, we're trying to incorporate more of the functionality right within the windows that you're in, so you're not jumping around as much from place to place within the program. It seems to make it a lot easier for people to find things that they're looking for, maneuver around. Just kind of keep in mind that you don't see these options until you select something. So if in the event you want to do something, just make sure you click on it and you'll see the options that come up to do that. The same way, again, if I wanted to do a change of a due date to multiple invoices, rather than doing it one at a time, I could select all of them. I could change the due date right here, and it would affect all of them. Really makes it a lot simpler to use than we've done in the past or on the Flash side. Moving on down the line here, we haven't really changed much in these windows. The main areas where we've done a lot of changes is in the pricing option. It was the back end that we still had to complete in the Fast Track side. It's mostly been completed in the 5.0 release. I'll start out with sales tax. We've moved the sales tax over. You have the ability to add a new tax table right from here. I can go ahead and click on my default one, just kind of open it up. As you can see, it's pretty much the same functionality, just labeled different. Plus, we've given you the ability to very nicely see the historic data. I purposely made a change to my sales tax today, just so you can see that as soon as you change the tax table in any way, shape, or form, it automatically shows the historic of what it was before. So it's showing me as of today, it was at 10%. I've now made it 11%. So it's an easy way to see when you change something or what you changed it to, so you can see a history of that tax table. The rest of it is pretty much the same as it was. If I wanted to tax shipping, I could do that from here. I could say if I want to separate it out, I could turn off the ones that I didn't want to tax. So if the state charges tax on shipping, I could leave this on. If the city does not, I could turn it off for the city. The same way for our Canadian customers, a lot of them that are doing the PST and GST, one tax taxes the other, and that's the tax on tax option where line 1 taxes line 2, so that you're actually taxing a tax. And again, build tax and price is so the customer won't see the tax. A round tax up, which is always rounds up to the highest amount, and it's showing me the effective tax rate. So they've all been moved over. Simply, I can go back, and I'll discard my changes, and you can see I see all my tax tables right here. I can add as many of these as I need going forward. All right, so that's the first thing we've moved over. Charge definitions, that was actually moved over in 4.7, but I'm going to just go over it briefly since I haven't done a webinar on this one yet. So we moved the charges over. We give you the ability to do the change prices right in here. This was a feature that you could do a global price increase. It was done in one area in the program under the pricing menu. So the decision was made, you know what, let's just go ahead and build that into each area that we want to affect. So right in here, I can click on my change prices. I can say I want to update by percent. I can tell it to include price lists. So for those people that at the beginning of a year say, you know what, I want to increase all my prices by 3%, you can come in here and it's telling you right here what it's going to increase all of that by the 5% that you've chosen. So just kind of keep in mind, if you do one of those people that do those annual price increases, that you'll do them from within the window. And I'll show you those as we come up to them. But just to kind of cover it, I can create a category right from here. The drop-down list gets me to my category titles. This is my command list. I can come down here to create a new charge category or new charge. I can come down here, it breaks it. One of the things that we've perfected a lot better in the 5.0 release is the reordering. All right, that's the little crosshair we have right here. So if you want to reorder these, it's a lot smoother than it was. They're continuing to perfect that ability, so you can make this list the look that you want to. So anytime you see these little crosshairs, that's what you want to grab if you want to reposition and put these in a different order than they already are. So these are my charges themselves. I'll go ahead and just kind of open one up just to kind of give you a little brief overview of what we've done. The charge name itself, the sales category, the production location if you're using Tracker, production code if you want to go ahead and assign a code to it, and the cost center if you're using Scheduler. The main functionality is the same. We simplified the window a little bit. Here's all your methodology up here for how you want to charge it, the same way it was in the flash side. This is a job aware charge, so I get my functionality down here, and here's all the buttons I've had. The preset info, we've moved down to the bottom. So if you're wanting to get into here to make any changes to any of the verbiage in the charge, or you want to lock in some kind of a number that you want to keep or show, then that's what the preset info. Just know that it's hidden, but you can pop it up, and it's going to give you default price right down in here. So this is the main window. If you want to add a price list to it, we've added these tabs across the middle. So now that I say if I want to go ahead and say I want to add, let's say, I'll just pick one, a price list for called laser. It's automatically going to give me the price list that I want to use. Same functionality I have in the flash side where I can interpolate, use as a rate list if I want to, and I can set my numbers. The one nice thing here is I can continually add new elements if I want to. So I can add additional prices to make the price list as long as I want it to be. Or I can just go ahead and add a new price list if I want to create a new one, delete the one I have, or duplicate already one that I'm working with. So a lot of functionality within the price list. The waste charts, again, just the way they were in the Flash side. I can create as many waste charts as I want to add to my charges for folding or bookbinding, whatever I've done. Simply create them there. And then lastly, I can go to my costing option. So for those customers that are going to more of a cost plus methodology, or even for those people that just want to know how much profit they're truly making, the costing functionality is still here, where you can, as I say, set your rates for fixed materials, unit materials, your labor rates and pieces per hour. So while it's showing me here what my sell price is, here's where it's showing me what my actual cost is to produce it. So this is reflecting, I was pretty much sure that it's about a 20% markup that I'm adding. So actually, I've had this as a rate. So even though that I have costing set up, I can still use the piece pricing method in order to make a sale. So here, if I want to go to my cost plus, I can do that. And I want to click OK. And you can see that now I have just a markup on top of, rather than doing it as piece pricing. So know that, you can still do all the methodologies. We've kind of just enhanced some of the functions within the window, but pretty much works the same as it did in the Flash side. So moving on down to my definitions, we've made some significant changes here. All right, so we put all the press definitions in the same place. Before we had our digital definitions, and we had our offset definitions, and even within those windows, we didn't really separate them out. Our offset and our web were all in the same window. Made it kind of confusing for people. So we made the decision that we're going to separate all these out into their own tabs, so you're not seeing them all in one list. So when I go to my offset, now I have my offset definitions. And once again, you can see that I have my change prices right here. So if I want to do a global update to my offset definitions, I can. I can do it by labor rate, where I want to actually mark up what my cost is, or I can say I want to actually just change my markup and add a higher markup on top of what my cost is. If my cost didn't change, I want to represent that I'm just making more profitability. So I want to cancel change price. Yes. So here's my press definitions. I'll just quickly show you some of the features. Again, I can duplicate one. I can edit one here just by clicking on it. If I go back, again, I've got my crosshairs, so I can move these into any order that I want, so that I can make this list appear the way I want it to when users are using them in the system. I'll just go ahead and open one up. Most of the functionality is still the same, just relayed out in a nicer format. As you can see, I still have my paper sizes, my labor rates, sales categories, my setup time, my number of heads on my press, my wash up, additional signatures, and so on. Next, I can set up my speed tables so that I can reflect my variable speeds on my machine. I can create a new speed table if I want to. I can go ahead and add a new one. I can duplicate the one I've had if I want to do multiples for different definitions. And I can always revert it back, and if I decided that I don't want to use the one that I changed it to, I can revert it back to the numbers that were there originally. Same way with the waste charts. We have our standard waste charts where, once again, I can create as many of these as I need for my different definitions to reflect how much spoilage I'm going to have during the course of the run. And we've included the target pricing, which allows me to adjust my pricing for market conditions. It allows me to say that even though the program has some pricing that is now built in based upon my parameters, I want to make some adjustments to it based upon my market conditions, whether or not I can actually add more money. Oops, that's a little too much money. Let's just make it 40. I can add more money to a quantity. I can add less money to a quantity. I can do whatever I'd like to do in order to adjust my pricing to say that, at certain quantities, I want to adjust the numbers because I may be able to make a little bit more money at that quantity, or I might have to settle for a little bit less money at that quantity. It's a really nice tool that, a lot of our customers don't utilize as much as it should be in order to make sure that you're competitive at all the quantities and you're getting the price you want to get. And again, it's just a nice way to simply adjust your pricing without having to go and manipulate press speeds or make ready times or whatever it is to try to get the price where you want it. So, and we won't save it. So that's our offset definitions. So I'm going to go back to my list and we'll discard it. The web, now these are for the people that have roll-fed presses such as the Diddy web. We made it a separate column so that you don't have to mix these up with your regular sheet-fed press definitions. Same functionality. If I open it up, the difference is that now when I select my paper style as roll-fed, I just have some different functionalities. I have a cuff length. I have my roll width that affects the how wide the roll is that I'm going to use, rather than having a two-dimensional sheet size. So it's just really nice for those people that have Diddy that it accommodates those. I'll go to my black and white and my color. All right, this is obviously going to be one of the more commonly used ones. Once again, I'll go into one of my definitions. Okay, so in here, you'll notice now that large format's been taken out of here. It's strictly just black and white or color. My functionality at the top is pretty much the same. All my methodologies here are the same. Once we've highlighted the costing area a little bit more predominantly, so that customers can try to figure out what their actual machine cost is per copy, rather than just come up with sell prices. We still have our maximum and minimum sizes as needed to help identify which definition should be used within a job. So we've also, the ability once again is here to attach charges, so that if this definition I want to go ahead and attach my RIP fee so that I always remember to add that to a job. I can go ahead and say that. I want to hit done. And now every time I use this definition, my RIP charge is automatically going to be added. So just a new layout, a nicer layout for how we set up our digital definitions, but pretty much the functionality is still the same. When we get to our large format, let's see, I'll actually save that. Remember, when the warning message comes up, and this is something that people get confused about, the option is typically to discard. So always remember to click on the save button when you made a change and you want to make sure that you save it so that when you leave, it doesn't get rid of that change that you made. So moving to large format, we separated these out once again. They used to be combined with your regular digital and it was confusing to people, so we moved it into its own area. So I'll just go ahead and open up one of them. And you can see now my option is strictly large format. The black and white and color went away. So now this is strictly for setting our large format definitions. And again, same functionality as we've had in the past. We've just enhanced the windows, made it a little bit easier to see. We think the layout's a little bit nicer. Functionality is pretty much the same, but now all the setup is here. So that's the major ones for all your press definitions, all in the same place. You have all these filters at the top. So when you're trying to find one, you can say that, I just want to see my large format ones. I can just go ahead. The more you type in there, the more limited the list is. So if you do have quite a big list of definitions, these filters here at the top just make it a little bit nicer to find the ones you're looking for. Because I know in the old legacy side or flash side, you used to have to keep scrolling to find the ones you were looking for, and it got a little bit cumbersome. Now we've always, on all of our windows, we have these nice filters that you can put in to help you find the ones you're looking for. So those are your press definitions. Print services, this has been moved over now for those customers that have our Market Direct storefront, and you want to attach a charge on Market Direct storefront to a charge within PrintSmith. These have all been moved over. All of these are the print services from MDSF that automatically come down to PrintSmith when you have the integration. And then all you have to do when you want to attach it is I just come over here and say I want to attach it to my staple charge in PrintSmith. So I can go to my bindery and I can go to my stitch and staple. and I can say that I want to attach my staple to it, and I hit done, and now you can see these two are connected. So for those ticket templates on Market Direct Storefront where customers have options to select items, and you want it to come into PrintSmith with those items already attached, that's what the Print Services does. You find the one on Market Direct Storefront, you come in here, you attach it to the one you want to use in PrintSmith, and now in the future, when this item is selected on MDSF and it comes into PrintSmith, it'll automatically add the charge from PrintSmith to the job. You won't have to remember to do it off of the web worksheet. So this has been moved over as well. Moving on down the line, the stamp schedule has been moved over. So here it is for those people that sell rubber stamps and sell it by lines and inches. The stamp schedule is the same one that was in the legacy side. It's based upon, inches across by the lines going up and down, and then you just basically go here and set what you want your pricing to be for those. Hasn't changed from the legacy side, so there's not really much to point out. It works pretty much the same way. And then the list price schedules. This is a real commonly used one for our Krauser users. I know they've been waiting for these to come over so that they can set these up for Krauser pricing, or if in PrintSmith you can do it yourself. For those customers that do offset printing still, and you want to be able to set your pricing rather than have the program do it, you have your options for the standard paper prices, which is by colors 1 through 5, front and back, where you set the quantities, and then you come in here and say, for 1,001 color, I want to charge $40. If it's two-sided, I want to charge $66.40, and the program will automatically do that. And that's when you're picking the methodology of list when you're in the job window. That's what the list price. You have it by colors. You also have it by passes. So if you just want to set the pricing based upon how many times it has to go through the press, you can do that as well. So once again, it's really mainly for Krauser users because all of his lists come in here, but you can also be free to create the ones that you want to create based upon specific pricing you may have given to a customer. If you've guaranteed a set price, that's where this really comes in handy, where even though you want to have you use your regular press definitions, you can come in here and say, I'm going to use my normal press definitions, but I want to set what the pricing is based upon colors and quantity. You can go ahead and do that. So it's a really nice feature to use. And you have several options in here. You can base it on the ordered quantity, by the press quantity, by the press sheets, including binder waste, and you can even do it by originals. So if you say that I'm going to charge $20 per 500 business cards, I can put $20 in here, and it'll do $20 for each name. So if there's 4 names, it's still going to do $20 per name if you do it by the originals. Again, nice feature to use for those customers that you have some fixed pricing that you've set forth. So that's the pricing that's all been moved over. Okay, it's all here now. So you shouldn't have any reason to not be able to set any of the pricing that you've done in the past. As far as the reports go, we've added the reorder list, which is the one where you can go ahead and be more proactive with your customers. And if you set a reorder point in your jobs, and just to show you for those people that don't know where that is, if I open up any of my pending documents, and I'll go to one of my invoices here, and I'll go ahead and update it. And if I go down and open up in my totals, okay, I have my reorder date. If you set a reorder date or have the program do it automatically for you, where it kind of learns the buying habits of the customers, it'll put a reorder date in there based upon copying jobs from history. It'll kind of track your customers' buying habits and automatically set the reorder date for you. So when you want to come in here and you run your order list, you can just say that you want to go ahead and run it, and it's automatically going to show you all the jobs that are due to be reordered based upon the reorder date. It's a really nice way to be proactive with your customers, to remind them that, hey, it's time to reorder something that they use on a regular basis, rather than being reactive with your customers and them calling you at the last minute saying, hey, I'm out of these, or I need these tomorrow, whatever the case may be. It's also a great reason for salespeople to reach out to customers on a regular basis, just to stay in touch. And feedback from customers are their customers are impressed that they're keeping that kind of tab on the things that they buy. So the reorder list was brought forward. I think it's a great sales tool. I think the people that use it find it to be just as good. We also brought over the customer list. And these are just your basic reports for customers, for those customers that don't have Report Manager. These are your information about your customers that you can print, whether it's the balance, the address list. And one of the things we did add on the address list is we did add the ability to add emails. So, for those customers that, in the past, in the old system, we didn't have email because it didn't exist when we originally created it. Now you can add emails to these, so you can print out customer lists with email addresses onto them as well. So again, these are just all the built-in reports, whether it's their address list by customer, balance summary, their rankings per year, all the types of things that you would basically want to know about customers. And right from here, you can actually get to those customers. Once again, we're always trying to find a way to be able to get you from one place to another without having to go to a whole bunch of different screens within the program. Real fast, short, easy way to do it. So anything that's underlined, remember, it means it's an access point. So whatever you click on, you can get there as long as there is an option to do it. If it's not underlined, then it means that there's no access to it. Okay? The same way as you see I have an email address right here, I can just click on it and it allows me to send an email to the customer right from here without actually having to go anywhere else. So a lot of functionality right with those now makes it a lot easier for you to be able to get information about customers, reach out to customers, update customer information, all the things that you would want to do that in the old system was different menus, different areas of the program, just not easy to get to. Okay? Moving on down, Tracker's been moved over. For those Tracker users, I'm going to do a WebEx solely on Tracker so that you can see how the new functionality works. Just a quick view, you'll see when I clock in here, it's a lot different than the existing Tracker that's in the legacy side. I plan on doing that probably tomorrow or the next day so that you'll be able to follow. I'll come out with that, and I think I'll try to cover all the areas that you'd want to do. One of the nice things, I know a lot of our customers are using the clock. So just to show you real quick, the time clock, we've now added the ability to do a lunch break. One of the things that customers have been asking for the last several years is that breaks are paid, but lunch breaks are not. So we used to just have break where it put them together. Now we added the ability so that you can separate out the lunch break from the paid breaks that your employees are getting. Once again, I'm going to do a whole WebEx on just the Tracker module so you can see it. But all the functionality of Tracker has been moved over, but it does look quite a bit different as you can see. So the WebEx, I'm hopeful, will help everybody find out what they want to about it. So moving on, this is one of the bigger areas right here. I'll kind of start to the top and kind of go through them fairly quickly. The user definitions have moved over. Here's all the employees. Just click on any one of them, and then you can come over here, and if you want to, you can edit. All the same functionality, just all laid out in the same window, so it's real easy to see side by side. You can change password, generate the token if it's an MDSF user, and so on. All the information for your users are right here. I can add more if I want to. So I won't go into much detail about that. Security setup, this is pretty much the same. I'll just go ahead and click on one of them. As you can see, it's a little bit different in how you find things because these used to be based upon the menus that are no longer existing. So we don't have the menu options anymore. So we've kind of grouped these, and once again, you can kind of resort these by whatever you want to click on. If you want to find, just invoice items, I can just, type in what I'm looking for, and it will help me find just the invoice menu items. Currently, you have to scroll down that giant list. There's no filters. So now you can just find the ones that you're looking for. Just makes it a lot easier when you're setting up security to find the items you're looking for. So if you want to just set up some job security, I can say, okay, boom, now I'm just seeing the items for the job menu. Again, just a little bit easier way to find what you're looking for when you're setting up security, because it is kind of a tedious process to set up security for all of your employees. And, I can delete a group, I can duplicate a group, and I can edit the name of any groups that I want to within the security setup. So it's all here. Hopefully you'll find it easy to use. I think it's a lot easier because, again, you're only seeing the areas that you want to affect when you're setting it up. Batch print has been moved over. So when you want to batch print your documents, some people don't like to print invoices all during the day. They want to do it once at the end of the day to mail them out. Here's your ability to do so. You can do today's, all the invoices that you picked up. You have some options for new documents. You can skip if already printed. The same functionality we had, it's been moved over to the fast track side. Okay, fold templates. Here's our library of fold templates. We've cleaned them up a bit. I think you'll see that these look a little bit nicer than they did. So we did our best to try to make the pictures as usable or visible as possible. They're all in here. You can go ahead if you want to edit one. It gives you the ability to edit the description. You can turn them off if you don't want to use them. If I want to mark them as inactive, that's what turns them red. You'll see the ones that are red are the ones that you don't want to use. And it's just all the library of all your folding templates right here. So anytime you want to get to them, they're right there. Okay. The paper templates. We've added more information here. As you can see, we used to just have the pictures with very little information. Now we've added all the information you want to see about these templates. I think it's really a nice enhancement on all your layouts. As you can see, all the information you want to see right here. If you want to create a new one, you can do that right from here. So rather than waiting until you create a template job, I can just click on New right here. I get the window. I can add in all the dimensions I want, click on Save as New Template, and just that easily, I have a new template that I've added to my list. It really surprises me how many customers keep creating the same layouts over and over and over again every time they do a job when they always produce it the same way. Why not save it as a template? Makes it much easier for your users. They don't have to think about how you would do it every time. They just pick the layout that they want, and it's all ready to go. And as you can see, it's got all the information they could possibly want to see on it as far as are there bleeds, is grain direction a factor, whatever they need to know, it's all right here. So real easy to find. And again, we give you a way, if you do have quite a few templates, ways that you can find them a lot easier than you could in the past. So you can search for the template you're looking for. So I truly recommend that people do these templates as much as they can. Okay, so the delivery ticket manager is moved over. So here's the storage of all the delivery tickets you've done. You can see if the job's been shipped. It puts this little icon next to it to let you know that it has. And it's just all your standard delivery tickets that you've used in the past. Delivery tickets have been there a while. We just didn't have delivery ticket manager. It has been moved over and is in the new system. Okay, and that's all we need to write here. The table editor, I'll just show you real quick that here is all the tables that were in the system that we used to be under the table editor, under the admin menu. All of your tables are right here. And again, nice and easy to find the ones that you're looking for. If you want to find the buyer one, you just type it in there. It'll sort it for you. You don't have to scroll through the whole list to find the one that you're looking for. We give you the ability, we used to have this as a hidden field on the preferences behind, where you can adjust one of the tables so that it's either editable or locked, or you want to be able to add from input and so on. The thing that I always caution people is that just because all this functionality is on this list does not mean that that table has that ability. One of the things I'd like to see us do in the future is only show the functionality that applies to that table. So just know that just because you select something on that drop-down list, it may not be available to that table. But again, as I say, at some point I'd like to see us where we limit what you can see based upon what the table will allow you to do. You can change the sorting. This is for the table itself. You can say I want to sort the table by name or by ID, so that if I click by name, when I open up the table, it'll sort it by name in that order, so to speak. Okay? So that's the functionality of the table editor. Again, anytime you got a drop-down or a fill field, it's on the table editor. You can see I'm only showing 25. I do have the ability to expand that to 100, so I can pretty much see all the tables in one window without having to go to 2 or 3 if I want to. The main reason we do these page breaks is for performance. If we didn't do the page breaks, it would slow the system down quite a bit, and so we add the page breaks, but you can pretty much eliminate most of them other than areas like stock definitions where you can see everything at once if you want to. Okay, so that's the table editor functionality. In the preferences, we have our settings. This is going to come up that we're no longer allowing a logout in less than 20 minutes because that seems to be a problem with people, is that they're getting logged out too soon, so they built into the program that the auto logout will never be less than 20 minutes. Coming down this list, you can see these are all the preferences that we had in the legacy system. They've all been moved over. They've been adjusted as needed. So something that's not necessary was left out, such as the pending document window. Now it's set in its own window. There was no reason to have the preference here, so it was left out. Anything that was unnecessary that's changed has been moved out of it. All the ones that were there that are still being used are moved over to all of your preferences here. There's no sense going to each one of them because, as you can see, it pretty much looks the same. The windows may look a little different, a little bit more modernized, but all the functionality is there that we had before. So go through it, check and make sure it's set the way you want, but just know that it's pretty much the way it was before. It's just all been moved over to the fast track side. Okay, so those are your settings there. The system monitor, this has been moved over. So for user sessions, you can see, I'm logged in right now. So if you want to see, and I can terminate somebody. So if somebody leaves themselves logged in and you want to log them out yourself, you can go ahead and terminate their session right from there. The email status, this is what keeps track of all the emails that you've ever sent to customers, so that you can always go ahead and see if you sent an email to a customer, and you can explain to them, what date and time the email was sent to them. So the system monitor is there. And then lastly, the user events. This is for our customers that have integrated credit card processing and for just finding out who was logged into the system at any one time. One thing I did want to mention is that in our preferences here, if you're a Card Connect user for integrated credit card processing, this one has its own setup now. Card Connect, this was moved over quite a while ago, and I've had a customer ask me today, where's the Avalon Bristol Pay one? That one actually is still back in your preferences under your credit card. That one setup is still back here. So when you activate credit card, if you're using Avalon Bristol Pay, then this is where you would come to set that up. If you're using Card Connect, that's the one you would come down here under your preferences and do the Card Connect setup right here. Okay? So that's this part of the preferences. Lastly on here is Scheduler. If you have the Schedule module, once again, I'm going to do a separate setup video for the Scheduler module. But just know that when you come in here, you want to go to your integration, if you have the module, and here's where you'll set up your integration to third-party products, such as if you have our new Ship Express integration, you'll set that up here. Krauser integration, you'll set that up here. And if you have Scheduler, this is where this should automatically come across if you're already a user, but you'll want to synchronize the data to the new Scheduler module. Okay, it doesn't automatically sync. You have to come in here one time, synchronize it, and then from that point forward, it should work out just fine. Then when you come in here, if I click on my schedule board, it's going to open up. And here, as you see, I can see my new Gantt chart. All the functionality, it looks very similar to the way the new PrintSmith Fast Track is working. As far as all the views, we got the calendar view like we had before. It's all the same, just new, modernized, a nice new look and feel. As I say, we have documentation and a video that I'll do for those customers that are using it, because it is somewhat different, as was with the Fast Track side compared to Legacy. There's no more of the menu items and all those. A lot of the items are just these icons where you'll find the information on these little drop-down icons like you're doing in the new Fast Track version of PrintSmith. But the functionality is still pretty much the same. It's just more modernized in a new look and feel. It does open up in a new tab, so you can jump back and forth between PrintSmith and the scheduling module once it's open. We have moved all of the cost centers over from PrintSmith. So this is where I'm going to set up all my cost centers just the way I did in the legacy side of PrintSmith. I can do all those right from here now. They've all been moved over as well. The same as the schedule board to schedule my jobs. Here they all are to schedule them. I get my little icons to indicate whether it has been scheduled or not. So once again, I'll cover that when I do the schedule video.